Hi, Psych 3019. My name is Skylar Biggs, and my ethogram is of Toothless the Night Fury. Toothless is the Night Fury from How to Train Your Dragon. The movie takes place during the Viking Age, and it's a fictional story about a boy who befriends a dragon that ends the war between Vikings and dragons. Here's a picture of Toothless, and this is his new tail that we'll talk about in just a second. So, the ecosystem in which Toothless lives in is primarily a coastal environment, and he lives a nomadic lifestyle until he is wounded. Um, and then he stays in this area called the Cove until that new tail is put on by Hiccup. Okay, so the black Toothless's description is that he has black scales that cover his entire body, and he has these light patches on his sides. And then he has some big eyes, and he is a very relaxed dragon until a threat is near. He's very protective of Hiccup and other defenseless animals and humans. However, he can be very aggressive around others. Um, and I like to say that he's in attack mode when there are weapons that are present. Okay. So here's some images of Toothless's behaviors. This is of him feeding. His favorite thing to eat is fish. This is what we like to call a plasma blast, and so you can see here that his eyes are dilated because he's like getting ready to attack. They're also dilated in this image, and this is him just like scoping out the situation that he's in. Okay, so here are the behaviors and definitions. Purring is a low rumble made when the animal is comfortable or showing affection. Growling is a loud, aggressive noise made by the animal when threatened or annoyed by humans, weapons, objects, or other conspecifics. Also, he will show his teeth during this time. Dilation of the eyes is when the animal feels threatened, frightened, concentrated, or curious. Playing when the animal pounces, leaps, or other friendly action with other animals or humans. Active is when the animal is flying, running, leaping, galloping, or any other fluent motion. Sitting, front legs positioned in the air or on the ground, with his butt and hind legs on the ground. Feeding is the animal is eating food, drinking water, and this also includes chewing. Plasma blast is when the animal shoots plasma from the mouth to defend those he cares about or to fight off wild dragons or people that wish to do him harm. Okay, so here's my data collection. You can see that I collected 30 minutes of data over starting at minute 28 of the film, going all the way up into 1 hour and 22 minutes of the film. And then you can see here that I've listed um, the behaviors, which is purring, growling, dilation of the eyes, playing, active, sitting, feeding, and plasma blast. And then here you can see I recorded how many times that occurred during each minute. Okay. So I used a current sampling to collect my data, which is how many times did Toothless do one of the 8 behaviors in a minute for the 30 minutes of the film that I recorded. And I watched this movie about 3 times to really ensure that I was getting the correct behaviors. I knew what I was looking for, and I went through each part of the behavior and really specified how many different behaviors he did within that minute. Okay. And then I use continuous and discontinuous data collection because there would be times where Toothless would be on the screen and then he would like disappear because it would change to a new scene within a minute. So that's why I used continuous and discontinuous data collection. Okay. So as you can see here, growling was like the top behavior that he used, and playing and feeding were like really low. Okay, and then here you can see that within the 30-minute periods, these are the percentages. So 35% of the time he was growling, 19% of the time he was feeding, 15% of the time he was either purring or his eyes were dilated, 6% of the time he was doing plasma blast, 4% of the time he was sitting, 3% of the time he was either playing or he was feeding. Okay. So, in conclusion, the results were not what I expected. I was really surprised by this study. Um, it showed that Toothless was a very aggressive dragon and that he was also social and loving, and he was very protective, and he was only friendly when given the chance. The results of this were very shocking to me because um, in other movies, he's portrayed as this friendly dragon, but in this specific one, he's still wild, so he hasn't quite been tamed yet, and he's just not as happy and playful because he's always on edge and ensuring that he's not being threatened. Okay, so behaviors that I should not have recorded because they were not very accurate, and they were less critical and didn't produce high results were sitting and feeding. If I were to do this study again, I would definitely choose a different one of the other movies, because they were give me more accurate predictions of the behavior that Toothless holds, and it'll just be like give me a better understanding of how I can really focus um, these behaviors and get better recording. Thank you all for listening. I hope y'all enjoyed it.